Yeah, my goal is to help those seniors live like they lived before they went in retirement. And many of them, unfortunately, don't plan effectively. They get into retirement and then they've got a home which is overburdened by the payments. So I go in and look at the situation. And the number one accomplishment I do with the seniors is eliminate that mortgage payment. That seems to loosen up some cash flow, keep the savings going, and that's the number one reason they would want to use a loan known as the reverse mortgage and know what the potential is. So my whole goal is for these seniors to retain and increase their cash flow so they can live those golden years. I like to use a few examples of what I do and how the outcome is for the clients. When I started doing the senior loans, the reverse mortgages 10 years ago, it was only because I had a neighbor, really, 80-year-old Donna. She's just so positive and so active all the time. And she came over one day. She said, Bob, I got a problem. I said, what's that, Donna? She said, well, I'm in this mortgage. All my income goes to pay the mortgage. It doesn't even pay it all. And my savings is dropping. I said, oh boy. And she goes, what about a reverse? I said, I really don't know anything about a reverse, but that was good because that took my knowledge to go get that and understand that product and see how incredible it is for the seniors. In fact, it's so incredible and easy to get this done that I have people under 60. By the way, you've got to be 60 in order to qualify and have equity. But I have got people that call and say, I want to do that program. And I said, you can't do it. They said, well, that's not fair. And I said, well, seniority has its privileges, which it does. And many seniors don't understand it. Right at their fingertips, they could live much more comfortably. They don't have to be stressed in doing what they're doing right now. And many of them are. So with Donna, I put this program together for her. And 10 years later, Donna is 90 years old, still active, still aware, and still thankful that she has got money now that for emergency cases. She's still in her home with no payment. Thanks to Donna, she created this way for me to produce and keep my business going because there's real meaning and effort in it. Another case scenario is when people have got the equity and but they can't pull it out because of the situations with the banks, income versus debt qualifiers. So they're living in a house that no double pane windows, the roof is leaking. I mean, it's really a mess. Or they may have an upstairs and they never go up there. And I suggest, well, just once you sell and get, downsize. A lot of them don't want to do that. They say, no, you carry me out by my bootstraps on here. I want to live a little more comfortably, but I can't. And I said, well, I'll show you how. So I go through a little budget with them. And one couple, not a couple, he was an actor. He was on Scarface, not Al Pacino, of course, but one of the little guys. And his parents died, left him the home to take care of his 60-year-old mentally handicapped brother who was about 6'4", 320 pounds. This is nothing but a big, lovable teddy bear. But they weren't getting through. They're on their Social Security and their California aid. It just wasn't happening. And they didn't want to sell. The parents built the home years ago. So we looked at the situation and I said, now, if we could do this, what would you do? Because I've got to be cautious. People that haven't had money in a long time, they get this excess chunk of money and they go crazy. And that's the end. That's their demise. So I set up a game plan and a budget. So what I did, we did this. That house now is double pane windows, electrical redone, the plumbing. I mean, it's a really nice house. They couldn't have done it without that. They've got some extra cash flow. The house is safe. They're happy. They have no payments. If they need some cash, they can go to the line of credit established with them to live a little more comfortably. So this is really this last scenario, I got a friend in Huntington. She's pretty well known, but she had some problems, and she didn't want to tell anyone. And by the time she got a hold of me, the house, she goes, I got a sale date. So what? She goes, well, I've been working with them, with the lender, and now it's going to sale. And I said, wait a minute. I said, we've got to do something real quick here. And I told her, I don't know if I can. I said, just sell the place. She goes, Bob, I don't want to do that. I want to stay here all my life. I said, okay. So I checked out to see if there's a way, if this reverse mortgage, which is for the seniors, the government wants to help the seniors in any situation, and they're going to do this loan. I just got it approved yesterday. She's an NOD. We installed the sale date. We're going to pay off her existing loan. She's going to be able to live in that house forever, not have a payment. And, there's things like that are why I like this product and what I do. And as I said, 10 years ago, if you ask me how long I'd stay in the mortgage business, I said, Ian, I could have burned out. But 10 years ago, knowing what I do to help seniors, I'll never stop doing this. It's fun. You see the results. You change lives. So that's the reason I do this. Those are some of the scenarios. Let me go. I'm going to try this real quick. I try to keep it as simple as possible. And how can I help seniors? 4 easy to remember ways. So I'll go through this. As I said, the number one thing is what the seniors are stressed by. They went into retirement with a mortgage payment that was okay and sustainable. When they had income, all of a sudden the income's dropped off, or maybe 50%. And what they're doing, they're just taking their savings and the 401ks. They're just pulling the rope until it ends. They don't have to do that. So I come in and eliminate the mortgage payment, and then it's true. We say, yes, it's true. Thank you, Uncle Sam. He allows that to happen. Of course, when we eliminate the mortgage payment, the principal on the property will go up, interest only for a while until they pay it off, which they don't have to pay off ever, but it's just another way to live a little more comfortably at that time. Also, a lot of people go into retirement with a little too much debt. They bought that motor home and a few other things, boat, and all of a sudden they're being bombarded with all this debt. So we try to throw that into it also and make sure that their savings, their 401ks, their IRAs, their pensions continue to pay, and the money goes to them rather than all this debt they had. So we pay that off so there's no payments on those items. So what we do here, most of the reverse mortgages are set up as a line of credit. So you access it when you need it, and when it's not, it's sitting there. Of course, there's no interest being paid on the money there's no interest. You're not paying interest on the line of credit they established that is unused. And I'll show you a little example of that in a minute. But we actually have that line of credit, unused credit line growing yearly. Mind-blowing. No one would do that. And also, then, Mike, you can attest, sometimes we got real estate adjustments, things happen, markets go up and down. As we did 10, 15 years ago, if this market happens to go down, most lines of credit were pulled at that time. Well, these won't be pulled. These lines of credit keep going regardless of whatever the market does. That's a pretty good that's a pretty good safety right there. Not have to worry about the what ifs. Did I tell you also there is no qualifying? There, you don't go in and fill out the paperwork. Say, well, you got this, and the ratios don't work. Age and equity is the only qualifier. It's really the simplest program around, and I thank my buddy Tom Selleck for making people not making, but showing people that, hey, what are you waiting for? This is really a way you can help. If you're those fortunate people that own real estate, live in your home, and want to stay there, this is a way to go. So here's the 4 ways that it works the most effectively for those people. Eliminate the mortgage, pay off the debt, get a line of credit, and no income qualifying. I want to show this last screen here, an example of a scenario we had. The client's 72 years old. We set an initial advance of $135,000, which paid off the existing. We did an initial advance of $108,000, which paid off the existing mortgage. So then I'm going to go 10 years down for him. We set up a line of credit. Over here is a $185,000 line of credit we set up. They're not paying money on that. That line of credit is available. 10 years down the road, that line of credit has gone to $245,000. That is pretty impressive. Not doing a darn thing. They've got the money growing. The second sample here is with a client. We just set up the line of credit. We didn't do any, they didn't pay anything off, but they wanted to have money available and knew the power of the reverse, how that line of credit could increase. So we set them up with a $415,000 line of credit. In 10 years, it's worth $548,000. So they've got an additional 132,653 cash available if needed. So where else can you get a line of credit that grows? You don't do anything, you don't pay for it. It's just absolutely incredible program. I know I went through a lot of stuff real quick, but it's really that simple. If the people have got the equity and they're living like paupers, they don't know what to do, they're stressed, please have them give me a call, and I'll walk through and let them know what they can do and what is possible, how they can retain their savings, and how they can live stress-free. And that's what I do.